5 most destructive earthquakes ever recorded. Thanks for watching Informative&creative. Please subscribe, share, and like for more informative videos.
Number 1. Valdivia, Chile, May 22, 1960, magnitude 9.5. The 1960 Valdivia earthquake and tsunami, or the Great Chilean Earthquake on May 22, 1960, was the most powerful earthquake ever recorded. Various studies have placed it at 9.4 to 9.6 on the moment magnitude scale. It occurred in the afternoon and lasted for approximately 10 minutes.
In Chile, the earthquake and the tsunami that followed took more than 2,000 lives and caused property damage estimated at $550 million. Tsunami radiated outward, killing 61 people in Hawaii and 122 in Japan. During the 1960 Chile earthquake, the western margin of the South American plate lurched as much as 60 feet relative to the subducting Nazca plate. In an area 600 miles long and more than 100 miles wide, many Chilean cities sustained significant damage, including Puerto Montt, where noticeable subsidence occurred, and Valdivia, where nearly half of the buildings were rendered uninhabitable. Though the havoc wreaked by the shaking was not inconsequential, most casualties resulted from the descent 15 minutes later of a tsunami that rose up to 80 feet, 25 meters, high on the expanse of Chilean.
When you have a big enough earthquake, it releases enough energy to set the whole earth ringing almost like a bell.
Coastline, bounded by the cities of Lebu and Porto Aysén, that paralleled the subducting plate. The combined effects of the disaster left 2 million people homeless. Though the death toll was never fully resolved, early estimates ranging into the thousands were scaled back to 1,655.
Number 2. 1964 Alaska earthquake. The 1964 Alaskan earthquake, also known as the Great Alaskan Earthquake and Good Friday earthquake, occurred at 5:36 p.m. Alaska Standard Time on Good Friday, March 27. Across south-central Alaska, ground fissures, collapsing structures, and tsunamis resulting from the earthquake caused about 131 deaths. The earthquake strikes at 5:36 p.m. on March 27, 1964, Good Friday. The earth trembled just as many Alaskans were sitting down to dinner. Eyewitnesses described hearing a crunching, grinding noise as the earth shook. They recalled seeing asphalt roads rise and fall like waves and the ground opening and closing before them, water shooting up through the ensuing cracks. The violent shaking led to water, sewer and gas line breaks and widespread telephone and electrical failures. It effortlessly toppled telephone poles, buckled railroad tracks, split roads in half, uprooted buildings, cars and docks, and tore homes apart. An undersea earthquake with a magnitude of 9.1 struck off the coast of the Indonesian island of Sumatra. Over the next 7 hours, a tsunami, a series of immense ocean waves, triggered by the quake, reached out across the Indian Ocean, devastating coastal areas as far away as East Africa. Some locations reported that the waves had reached a height of 30 feet, 9 meters, or more when they hit the shoreline. The tsunami caused one of the largest natural disasters in recorded history, killing at least 225,000 people across a dozen countries, with Indonesia, Sri Lanka, India, Maldives, and Thailand sustaining massive damage. Indonesian officials estimated that the death toll there alone ultimately exceeded 200,000, particularly in northern Sumatra's Aceh province. Tens of thousands were reported dead or missing in Sri Lanka and India, a large number of them from the Indian Andaman and Nicobar Islands territory. The low-lying island country of Maldives reported more than 100 casualties and immense economic damage. Several thousand non-Asian tourists vacationing in the region also were reported dead or missing. The lack of food, clean water, and medical treatment, combined with the enormous task faced by relief workers trying to get supplies into some remote areas where roads had been destroyed or where civil war raged, extended the list of casualties. Long-term environmental damage was severe as well, with villages, tourist resorts, farmland, and fishing grounds demolished or inundated with debris, bodies, and plant-killing salt water. Number 4. Sendai, Japan, March 11, 2011, magnitude 9.0. On March 11, 2011, a magnitude, MW, 9.1 earthquake struck off the northeast coast of Honshu on the Japan Trench. A tsunami that was generated by the earthquake arrived at the coast within 30 minutes, overtopping seawalls and disabling 3 nuclear reactors within days.
The Great Tohoku earthquake destroyed more than 100,000 buildings and triggered a nuclear disaster. The Japan earthquake and tsunami of 2011, also known as the 2011 Tohoku earthquake and tsunami or the Great Tohoku earthquake, was a natural disaster that shook northeastern Japan on March 11, 2011. The disaster began when a magnitude 9 earthquake shook the region in the early afternoon, unleashing a savage tsunami. The effects of the Great Earthquake, which was the strongest in Japan's recorded history, were felt around the world, from Norway's fjords to Antarctica's ice sheet. Tsunami debris has continued to wash up on North American beaches years later. In Japan, residents are recovering from the disaster. As of November 2021, there were still about 39,000 evacuees who lost their homes. 1,000 of them were still living in temporary housing, more than 120,000 buildings were destroyed, 278,000 were half destroyed and 726,000 were partially destroyed, according to the agency. The direct financial damage from the disaster is estimated to be about $199 billion, about 16.9 trillion yen, according to the Japanese government. The total economic cost could reach up to $235 billion, the World Bank estimated, making it the costliest natural disaster in world history.
Number 5. Kamchatka, Russia, November 4, 1952, magnitude 9.0. The 1952 Severokurilsk earthquake struck off the coast of the Kamchatka Peninsula. The 9.0 MW earthquake triggered a major tsunami that hit Severokurilsk, Kuril Islands, Sakhalin Oblast, Russian SFSR, USSR, on November 4, 1952 at 16:58, tsunami, 18 meters, 59 feet. Depth, 21.6 kilometers, 13 miles, on November 4, 1952. The epicenter was 25 miles beneath sea level. Within 15 minutes of seismic recognition of the earthquake, the Tsunami Warning System, TWS, that had been set up 4 years earlier in Hawaii began to follow the path of the expected tsunami. A boathouse worth $13,000 was demolished in Hilo, where the highest wave levels were seen, 12 feet above normal sea level. Property damage from these waves amounted to $1 million. Fortunately, no lives were lost, but it seems that TWS failed to alert people to the nature of tsunami waves, especially their number. In Honolulu, sightseers ran toward the beach at the second wave instead of running away from it, apparently unaware of the great potential danger from subsequent waves. Thanks for watching InfoSpot. Please don't forget to subscribe, share and like for more informative videos.